All right. Did it show up on your end that I'm recording? There it goes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Legally, you have to do that legally to let people know. So good. All right. Okay. All right. Everybody see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to jump into ipage now. I think most of you have been using it for a while, correct?
A couple weeks maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's different things that we'll do. If you've never seen it before, then that's much different than if you've seen it and you've been kind of playing around. And so hopefully we'll have some aha moments today where you'd be like, I knew that there was a way to do that. And we'll do it. So if any questions or anything like that, jump in and yell, hey, Brett, show us that again. But to begin with, we have on iPage the ability to customize pretty much everything. So everybody's view is going to be different. And it even starts with customizing your home page. If you don't like what you're looking at, then just change what you see. So, we like to do that. In your case, since you're all use service except for one of you, as you notice when you're looking at your boxes here on the main screen, you can come over here to the edit and see different things that you're looking at. So I'm going to change this to children's paperback. And the other box, I'm going to change it to Publishers Weekly Children Nonfiction. So you have an ability to set everything that you're seeing and you're looking at, and you can move boxes around and you can do all kinds of cool stuff, because every time you log on, we want you to be comfortable with what you're seeing. All right. Makes sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good. All right. The action for iPage will be up here at the top. The browse, search, lists, orders, then all the way over here to the list. But what I want to do is I want to start in here in the browse. And this first column is all of the big mega categories, where you get 12 million titles in a list of books and things like that. And so we're going to skip over that, but we're going to go here to the middle. And what we've got here is where we have all of our curated lists. And in this case, let's start here for high interest categories. And as you notice on high interest categories, this is where pretty much the basic way to say it is, when you say to yourself, there's got to be a list made for what I'm looking for, let me find it. And that's where we're going to put it here in the high interest categories. So I'm going to start here in the children's, and as you can see the different categories that you can look at. Now, the ones that are award winners down here at the bottom, those are the ones that are driven by, frankly, just being on an award. But the vast majority of these are hand curated lists that our collection development team is coming up with. So what would you like me to open here in the children's?
Well, let's start with debut, I guess.
Okay, so I'm going to click the debut, and as you can see, we've got two lists in here for debut. We've got a list from the 15th of March for debut juvenile fiction and another one for the 11th for debut easy books. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this debut juvie fiction. And as we can see, here are 17 titles that our collection development team said, hey, not for nothing, but we think these are some pretty neat titles that you need to put on your radar. And that's the purpose of these. You may look at it and say, nah, or you may look at it and go, oh, I never thought about that one. But that's the purpose of these lists, just to give you something more to think about and something more to consider. Okay. Any questions? All right, okay. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go down here to this virtual book display. I'm going to open this up. And as you can see, we have kind of the lists that don't really fit anywhere else. And some of them are from late fall, some of them are from last week. Here's a Yummy Food Books. And here are 47 titles that are yummy food books. From avocado ass to applesauce is fun to wear. So, you know, there's going to be some neat things in here. Feel free to dig around in them, look at them, do your thing. Now, as you notice, we're digging through a list, and what do we see right here? See this right here under fry bread? See that ordered? Anywhere you are in iPage, if you've got a title that you have ordered or put on a list, we're going to give you an icon whenever it pops up to show you. So this tells us that this book was ordered on March 11th. This ordered information, in case you haven't seen it, if I go ahead and open up this title and look at it, which would be a good thing to do right here, as I say, hey, I want this title, I'm going to put it on a list. We're also going to give you the same reminder over here on the right before you can put it on a list. We're going to say, oh, by the way, you've got it ordered. You know, just want to remind you so you can see again where you had that title ordered. All right. And you can scroll on through. Oh, there's another one. You've got watercress ordered as well. You ordered that one yesterday. Okay. Any questions about that?
Looks like Rakshanda has a question.
Sure.
So from this list, I can just go ahead and order, like if I like the title, I can just order like normal from here. Like if you go to the right to your screen, is there, it's all the same information if it's like.
Correct. Yeah. So you're kind of just jumped ahead of me a tad, but I'll go ahead and I'll move there to now. Okay, so that's a good question. The question is, okay, I find a list like this and I'm just looking around and I'm intrigued by this Applesauce is Fun to Wear book. So I open it up, and as I'm looking at it, I'm seeing that we've got 139 of them in Indiana, 104 in Tennessee. So, yep, we've got that. And as I notice, it's not on a list or anything else. So at this point in time, I'm going to put this title on a list. So I can come here, and because I just logged in, I don't have a list stuckied here. So I'm going to say choose a list. And as we can see, if I say choose a list, there's not necessarily a list that I want to put here. So maybe I haven't started a food list. So I can do a couple things at this point. I can put this title on any of these lists right here by just picking it and going. Or I'm going to say create a new list and call it my food list.
Has Brett's screens frozen for anyone else? Ah, there we go.
Did it just work? Okay. If we froze, if you want to go ahead and turn your camera off, you can do that. That we find with Teams every once in a while at certain times during the day. So if you guys turn your camera off, that might do your bandwidth. Okay. All right. Did everybody see what I did on this Applesauce is Fun to Wear? All I did was when it was opened, I looked over here and I created a new list. And when it popped up, I just called it the second food list and hit create. And what I did is I made a list and it put this title on the list. Make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to jump out of this real quick and go back to the list. And as you can see, I made the first food list and then the second food list. So I've got two food lists going. So if I don't want two food lists, all I'm going to do is just click here and say delete the selected list. And that's how you delete a list. So build all the lists you want, not a problem. I see you guys are building. You can put stuff on lists like I just did and play. All kinds of cool things that you can do. So I'm going to go back to the high interest category, go back to the yummy foods. and show you what to do. Now, let's say, for example, that this is a list that you want to dig into, but quite frankly, you just don't have time right now. So you're like, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put all of these items on my own personal list, so then that way I can edit that list later. So anytime you're in a search, whether you're on one of your lists, one of ours, or you do a search for 1,000 items or whatever, you always have the option to come down here to the bottom, and I'm going to say these 47 titles, and I'm going to put them on the food list that I'd already created and say add. So what happened is I just did it, and as a reminder, iPages jumped up and said, whoa, Brett, hold on. Did you know that you've already got applesauce is fun to wear on that list already? And it says the following are duplicate. You can add these duplicates by checking it, or you can add the items by clicking. So I'm just going to say, yep, I'm going to say add all because I want to put it on there. So I just added all 47 of those items to my list, and here it is right here. Here's my food list. And as you can see, I put all those items on it. All right, everybody follow that?
Yep.
Okay, so you can do that from anywhere, from any shot. So I'm going to go to top juvie. Here's 250. If I wanted to, I could come down here at the bottom and I could put all 250 of these on a title, or I've got 50 a page, I can put those on. But anywhere you are when you've got a list like this, you can always just go to the bottom and put every one of them on a list all at once, rather than just selecting a couple like that and then going to the bottom and saying selected titles, yep, add them to the food list or any of my other lists. In this case, since we're just playing, we're just going to put them on the food list and say add. So I just put those two titles on the food list. Now, do you see what happened real quick? What popped up? The second we put these two titles on a list, iPage automatically came back and added this icon for us and says, hey, Brett, by the way, you've got these items on a list. So if I come back tomorrow and I put in 12 suspenseful mysteries, it's going to remind me that I've got it on a list. So once something is on a list in iPage, anytime you look it up, anytime you run across it, you're always going to get the ordered or the item is on a list to keep you from putting it on again.
Okay.
Question?
So how do we make our own lists in the sense of, like, I'm just looking for beginning readers?
Okay, good question. You can do it a couple different ways. You can find, titles that you like and then make a list like I did. Or if you're an organized person and you like to make your list beforehand, I'm going to come up here to lists. And I'm just going to come over here to create new list. And I'm going to call it my easy reader list. Right? And say create. And what I just did is I just created a list called easy reader list, dated. I can put my initials, whatever your naming convention is that you do. And as you notice, there's nothing there. So now as I'm out working around and I find something that I like and say I'm just kind of reading and I see something and I'm like, ooh, let's see, juvie fiction, and I see a title I want and I open up the Art Queen and I look at it and I can say, oh, I can put it on my list simply by clicking there, and I'm going to put it on my easy reader list and add it. Just that easy. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, iPage is built to work the way pretty much you want. Some folks will never build a list beforehand. You'll always do it on the fly. Other folks, you're going to sit down and make a bunch of empty lists at the beginning of every week or every month or however your workflow is, and then go from there. So it's just up to you. And the list will always be here. Now, since we're in lists, I'll go ahead and I'll stay here for a second. As you notice, I'm looking at these lists by the sorted date, by the last edited date. So what's going to happen is I'm looking at lists. For me, the way I like to do it, I always want the ones that have touched the latest to be on the top. On the other hand, maybe you want to have your list organized by list name. You can do it that way. It's an individual setting that each of you will go ahead and do that. Most folks just like doing it the edited by, because that'll throw the new stuff to the top. All right, questions?
How can they see only the lists that they've created?
Couple ways on that. One is, and this is what you guys have to figure out how you want to do it. And I think we went over this the first time around. You can make all lists public. As you notice that the lists that I made are public. I see you guys are making public lists. That means that everybody can see it. Everybody that's part of your group has access to it to do check against it. That's what this over here says, all lists in the folder. If I want to see just my list, this is where it gets a little kind of in the weeds. There's a couple ways to do that. If you make all the lists your own private, then you can do private lists only. We recommend against that. What we recommend you do if you want to see just your own list is everybody notice at the top where it says active, archived, Ingram, and then I've got a folder here. I'm going to delete that. All right. And you see this plus mark right here? I can come here and say my list only and add it. So I can make a folder here that's got my lists in it. So whenever I create a list, I'm going to put it in my list only. And so now whenever I come in to ipage, instead of having to go into active and try to sort through everybody else's, all I do is I simply go to my list, and as long as I put my list in there, there they are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. Now, here's the cool thing. This is putting these lists into my list only folder, but as far as the rest of you right now, you can see these lists transparency wise. For you, it's just an active list that you can dupe check against. And then it will show up and say item on a list or all the other cool things. So there's a workaround. Just make your own folder. You can make multiple folders. You can make 13 additional folders if you want. I can also make a new folder that says my fall holiday. And so you can make various folders that will help you keep all of your lists organized if you're a list builder. If you're not, then you don't necessarily need to. Maybe you can just get by with just making a folder. The cool thing is that whenever you go to delete a folder, remember it's a folder, not a list. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this, my list only. And all it's going to do, because these were active lists, it simply just moved the list out of the folder and it put them back in active. So we're not doing anything with the list. We're not rechanging them, editing, do whatever. It's just a folder that we're keeping it in to make our life simpler, because the more people that get involved, the more lists are going to be in the active folder. So you just want to be able to pull yours over so you don't have to dig around for them.
Okay, this may be jumping ahead, but I would then recommend everybody create a folder for lists that have been ordered that you sent to Sharon. Then that way you know those are complete. Because that is one of the issues that we've discovered, that even though it says it's locked, Brett,
Yes.
People have still been able to add items to it.
Right. The person who created the list always has the ability, even if it's locked by the administrator, the person who created it still has access. Right.
Okay.
But once a list has changed colors, then that should be your clue to never touch it again. Because what happens is once it's got a different color, that means that it's been ordered. And there you go. So if you're digging around and you find a list that's ordered, do not touch this list again. Don't put anything on it. It doesn't catch up. It doesn't. Sometimes people ask, oh, well, it was already ordered, so I threw another couple units on. That doesn't work. It's like making a telephone call or the bus left the station. If you aren't on it, you aren't on it. So just don't touch colored lists. Blue means downloaded. Blue means downloaded. In your case, you're not downloading, you just ordered on iPage. So anything yellow, just let that be a, hey, don't touch that.
Okay, when they're in an item and they are going to select what list to add it to, is there a ways that there will only see their list, and then when a list is ordered, it won't appear in their list anymore so that they don't accidentally add to it?
Right. What will happen is I'm in this title right here, and I'm over here on the right. And as you can see, I want to put it on a list. If I come right here, and if I archive lists or put them in a different folder, and in this case, I would archive them, Joy, if that was what I do. You see this check mark right here? The archived, as long as that is not checked, if you're archiving lists, then you can't have access to them. See right here, I've got only active.
Mm-hmm.
But if I click archive, there we go. Now you see that I have access to archive lists as well. So everybody just needs to make sure that those are not checked and you don't have to worry about it. Or if I want my list only, and if I can click off that, now I only see my list. So it's crescendoed for just however you want to do it. So in this case, I've got everything here marked down to just active on my list. So I've only got 3 to put it on. Make sense?
Yep, and then if you could go back into the curated list, Brett, I don't know if you're going to go through this of how, because the selectors have specific Dewey ranges.
Yep.
And how can they basically get a list that just pertains to their Dewey range?
All right. Here is the top library reads. As you can see, these are the top selling quarterly titles among Ingram Library customers over the last 12 months. As you can see, we just updated these lists for the most part this previous week. So if you click on to the top Juby 500s, here you go. Now, here's some cool things that you can do when you're in any list, but this one, it's even more particular. As you notice, I've got these by product name, and you can see here's my A to Z bar. However, what if I'm sitting there going, this is nice, but wouldn't it be nice to know what were the big sellers within these? So I can come over here to the sorted by, and I'm going to come down here by Ingram demand, and I just move these around so that I'm seeing the ones that we've shipped the most of, top to bottom.
Yeah,
So
and then this one, go ahead.
So if it's something that you don't necessarily have a hard working knowledge on, you can use this as saying, well, assuming everybody else isn't an idiot, what's everybody else ordering? And you can use that as a reference. On the other hand, if you don't trust everybody else, then you don't use it. But if you're just looking for another reference, here you go, top to bottom, what we've been shipping.
And then everybody, you'll notice on the left side of his screen, there's the filtering. he has the search filters, hide compilations, and hide reproductions checked. Brett, if you want to explain to them why those should be checked.
What will happen is now this is going to be a finite list of the 250, so they're going to be in there anyway. But for example, I'll cover that up. I'm going to go out in a second. I'm going to come down here real quick and look, and you can see within the Dewey categories, we're even going to break it down even more. And then if you want to see just the life science biology, you just say include and you have update, and there's the 22 of them. And then you're like, cool, I want all of these, and I'm going to put these selected titles, and I'm going to put them on my, which list? I'm going to put them on my food list. And there we go. And I added them, and I just put them on my food list. That's how easy it is to move around. All right, any questions about that? All right, hide compulations, hide reproductions. And I can get into that when we talk about searching now. All right, up to now we've been looking at already made lists that we've got, and just to review, it's under browse, high interest categories, or standing order lists, or on street days. So you can dig around in those. You can't break anything. On the other hand, I need to get my baseball list together because the Cubs and the Sox are both opening up this week. So I'm going to look for baseball books. So I'm going to set my search criteria to books, keywords, and Ingram Active, and I'm going to put in baseball. And as you notice, I just got 13,219 titles. That's a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and change that back to pub date. So I got 13,219 titles. What I did is I did not pull in any compilations or reproductions. So I'm going to come here and take those off. And you can notice now it went back up to 13,874. So it put in all of the compilations and all the reproductions that I basically say, you know what, I don't want to fool around with those because I'm probably not going to order those anyway. You can put those in and out of your search results.
Excuse me, Brett. Being a little bit of an idiot here, but define reproductions for me. What specifically qualifies as a reproduction?
That's going to be kind of a bigger picture category of items that somebody is like on a compilation, you're putting together 3 or 4 things and then releasing it on a self-published type of thing. Reproduction is going to be about the same thing as that. Every once in a while, it might catch a title that came out 8 years ago that was just reproduced again. But as long as the ISBN is different and it's coming from a reputable publisher, it should not catch that. These are both just designed to pull somebody who took something that came off of came off of copyright and throwing it back out there again. It's designed to catch that.
Okay, so reproductions in a very simplistic manner are self-published.
Yeah, simplistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So as you notice, I hit them. So I'm down to 13,219. Now I want to spend a couple minutes talking about what's in this refined search and what we came up with. Now, we said we want to look for books, keywords, and Ingram Active. iPage is very literal. If you would have said title keyword and said baseball, we've got 7,724 titles because we told iPage, I want to see all the books you can find that have baseball in the title. Excuse me. So baseball has to be in the title. When we said just keyword, then it was finding baseball anywhere in the publisher data, anywhere in the MARC record, anywhere in the LC record, anywhere that the book had baseball in it, it pulled it into our search. So if the title of the book would have been Ryan Sandberg, Greatest Cub, then that book would not show up for us if we did a search by title keyword, only showed up if we did it by keyword. So just something to know on that. So we went back to keywords, we're looking, and let's say that I only want juvie titles. So I'm going to click the adult, or I'm going to click the juvie, and I can click any of these. But what I'm going to do is I want to exclude the adult titles and say update. So I just kicked out all the adult titles. All right, makes sense?
Yep.
Okay. On the other hand, I can sit here and say, you know, I got a lot of smart baseball kids, and so they don't want anything old. So let's do a pub date. Let's go back to December 1st through today. And I'm going to say update. So here are the 69 titles that published just in the last 4 months. So I can dig around in all of these detailed searching over here, and I can really whittle down what I'm looking for just to make my life easier, just to find exactly what I'm looking for. I can even come down here and see what are the 411 or the full 11 that have been reviewed. And so here's the reviewed titles. So you can click around in those as well. So I'm looking at these have all been reviewed. So I'm like, ooh, yeah, I want to review these later. I don't have time. So I'm going to take these 11 titles and I'm going to put them on my food list. There we go. So I copied them onto my food list. So my food list is getting big, right? So anytime I do anything, I can always put them onto one of my lists. So now it's permanent, because you may come back tomorrow and go, now, what was that search I did? You don't remember. So you can always dig around. You can always do it. If you know author, you can search by author. However you like to search, you can search that way here on iPage. You can search by Dewey. You can search if it's a part of a series. Just knock yourself out. A lot of people like the author title 4x4. What that means, if you know the first 4 letters of the author's name and the first 4 letters of the title, you can put those in and it will pull up. So that's kind of a neat little tool to do that. Right.
Okay, Brett, how do we search by Lexile number, let's say? Is it possible to do that?
That one gets a little bit trickier. When you say Lexile, what exactly are you looking for, or what are you trying to find?
Well, so we're often asked, or kids are sent from school to find books within a specific Lexile range. And I think I'm trying to lead you here. Yeah. I think if you go under power search, it's something that you offer.
Yeah. The other thing is you notice we have the ability, and we'll cover this right at the end, under my account. Everybody needs to set up your own settings, but under my account, under change settings, you can come here and you can force, if you're looking for reading program related information, you can force whether you want accelerated guiding or scholastic reading, you can put those in there.
Okay. So
you can click the one you want on that. And then under power, where to go? Here you go. Under Lexile code, you can pull it up under here as well.
Great.
So those are there. This gets a little more wonky because that's running off of publisher data. We don't necessarily touch that. Most everything else we do touch, but that is publisher data that we'll throw through on that.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Gotcha. Okay. So back to the browse. We did the high interest category. We looked at that. We looked at how we search. That's why we tell you to save things in lists, because I just forgot my search. Oh man, I had to walk away. 2 kids started fighting. So now I don't remember what I did. So I'm so glad that I saved those titles on a list, because now I just go to my list. And so let's look at my food list right here. Whenever you open a list, we want you to use search result view to open it. All right, edit and view are going to go away. Search result view is where we're putting all the functionality. So I'm in a list right now. I'm looking at my list. Whether you're in a made list like this, or whether you're in one of our standard lists or a search, you can always rearrange titles. So instead of being sorted by pub date, I'm going to sort this by product name. So it's going to go into an A to Z if I want to move it around. And as you notice, I've got 83 titles on this list. And I'm looking at them, and as I'm going through, I'm seeing, you know, all my stuff, and I'm looking, You know what? I don't like that follow the food, the wall. I don't like that. So I'm going to delete it. So you just simply delete it. Oh, wait a minute, fry bread, we've got that ordered. I don't want that one since we've already got it ordered, so I'm going to delete it too.
Brett,
So I can come through. Go ahead, yep.
I have a question about that part, where in the list it tells you that it's already been ordered. So what happens is, like, if this list is in my list, it's not hiding who bought that, right?
Correct.
Because sometimes there's an overlap, like Bookmobile also gets it, and Youth Services also gets it. But the icon is the same for either.
Yep. If you have ordered it through Tinley Park, it works at the headquarter level. If you've ordered it through your library, it'll show up as ordered.
It will show up as ordered, but I can tell, if I hover over it, it will tell me that Bookmobile ordered it, but I still need it for our library though.
Yep, then you can just go ahead and order it. It doesn't matter. Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that icon does not block anything. It's just purely there as informational.
Okay, so even if I have my list pulled out, it's not public. It's not hiding the fact that Bookmobile already ordered it.
Correct.
That is the only one who ordered it, and I have not, and I still need to. Okay.
Correct. Right. Yeah. The only thing that will hide is if one of these would have says item is on a selection list, if you make a list private, then it will hide that and that icon wouldn't have showed up. But once it's ordered, that's global, universal, it shows everywhere. So ordered will always show.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. But in this case, since we looked at it and said, you know what, yeah, let's see, they ordered it. I want another copy. So I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it on my list. That's cool. So here we go. I'm also going to come along and I'm going to do a duplicate check just to see what's going on. And we can see that, oh, wait a minute, applesauce is fun. I've got this on the list twice. Duh. So, you know, that's always good to know. So I can come back and I can get rid of that. Here's watercress again, that tells me that I've got it on this list, but I've got it right here and I've got it ordered. So this is telling me that I've got applesauce on this list twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete one of them. So I just deleted one of them. So now the only duplicate that I've got on this list was exactly like I thought. It was that watercress that showed as ordered. And I don't need to do anything with that because I know it was ordered. I know it was on another list, but I'm going to put it on my list because I'm ordering it because I'm ordering it for the Bookmobile or the Bookmobile had it or whatever. So there we go. So I'm going to hit back to my list. So I've cleaned up my list. All these titles I went through. I don't have any duplicates on here that are duplicate on somebody else's list. I don't have any duplicates on here that I've got on the list twice, and because I got so many titles, I just overlooked it. So this to me is a clean list. So I'm happy with this list. So just for hoots, I'm going to say price this list. And when it's a bigger list, what will happen is it will sometimes take a minute or so to price it. And what this is doing when we say price this list, this is pulling up what your actual price on this item is. So it's going, that's why it takes a while. It's going into the system, it's comparing it to what it is that, you know, we charge you. And it's saying, okay, if you order all of these 80 items, this is what it's going to cost you to order these 80 items. And then sometimes you have to come up here to the top and refresh. And there it worked. So as you can see, it's going to show you line by line. It's going to show you the discount and what you paid for the book. And it will go through and show you exactly what we will invoice. If you would have ordered this list of items today, the invoice should come to you for $934.96. Any questions about that?
No?
Good, all right. We also have the stock availability. I'm going to hit this button and I'm going to see what we have available on all these titles right now today at this second. Our price availability runs about every 6.5 minutes. So even though we say, you know, it's real time with 4 warehouses and millions of items, you know, you can't get real time. So our inventory cycle runs about every 6.5 minutes. So these numbers are accurate anytime from 1 second up to about 6.5 minutes. So this is telling us that these 48 items are in our primary warehouse. So it's telling us that they're sitting in Indiana waiting for us to ship them. And now it's telling us that these 13 items are not in our primary warehouse, but they're in Tennessee in the secondary warehouse, and these will ship immediately. Believe it or not, what could actually happen from time to time is the secondary warehouse will ship quicker than the primary warehouse. So just because it's a secondary warehouse doesn't mean that it's slower. It just means that some of our titles are housed in Fort Wayne. Everything is housed in Nashville. So doing that. And now it's telling us that we've got these items aren't in our warehouses right now. So these dudes are going to have to back order. So we're looking at these and going, okay, let me make some decisions. Well, you can see this first one published on 1/1/19, 10/1/19, these published in 20, but so these 4 are technically already in print. All of the rest of these, oh, here's another one, the Snack Attack is in print, but a lot of these they're not yet printed yet. So of course they're on back order. So we can look at these titles right now and say, okay, if I want to order this, we don't have any in the warehouses, but I'm going to go ahead and click on 100 most awesome things on the planet and see that we do have one that we've got on order that's coming into the Oregon warehouse. Everybody see that? That OR means Oregon. And I pop on that calendar. So what this is telling you, this is one of these clues that says, you know what? We expect this to be a valid title. If you put it on an order, it will immediately go to back order. We will go get it and we will bring it into the warehouse and we will ship it to you as fast as we can. That's how to interpret that. Under no circumstances do we ever say, hey, if we don't have it, we aren't going to get it. If it's here, it's here. If it's not, it's not. That's not the Ingram model. Our motto is we go get stuff and we bring it in. Here's Amy Wu in the Perfect Bow. You can see this title published October 19th. As you can see, we got a bunch of them coming in. So it's like, yep, we don't have any in stock, but we got a bunch coming. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and get it on order so I can get one of those. So that's how to interpret when you do the stock check. That's how to interpret the data just to see, you know, where everything is and what's going on.
So
Questions?
Brett, yeah. Related to the recently published or about to be published, one of the aspects of the Baker and Taylor platform that we really do like is they call them MVP carts. Basically, material that is forthcoming in the next couple of months. And that is a program like you sign up for specific areas of the collection. So for example, every month I get a cart already in my account with the forthcoming beginning readers and early chapter books. I have to assume you have something like that.
Yeah, and ours is better. So,
Okay, good.
yes, there you go. So yes, so I'll show you that where this is, and so like I said, we'll have to sneak back this. We call them our standing order notification plans, and you set up whatever you want. In this case, I'm on your live, and I'll show you real quick. So if you go to Easy Reader, you can come down here and you can put in your email address. You literally pick what it is you want to follow, click a few buttons, and in a matter of minutes, it's set up and it's ready to roll. And then what we do is we will send you a monthly list with everything that you basically told us. Hey, Ingram, I want you to follow all of this for me. And when something hits the publishing radar, please send me a list. And that's exactly what we do.
Okay, so they're not automatically ordered. It's just a notification, even though it's called standing order program.
Right. It's up to you if you want to do it. And what will happen is that right here in this Ingram folder, you can see that when I did training earlier this month, I set up what was called an author program. And you can see that we sent you a list on March 1st with 2 titles on it.
Okay.
And I'm going to say search result view, and I'm going to look at them. These 2 came out, and as you can see, one of them's publishing in September, the other one in August. And you can do whatever you want. These items are on a notification only, which means it's going to sit there forever.
Okay.
Nothing happens. If you want it to be an auto ship, that's a different setting. You just click the auto set or the auto ship, and we will automatically send it. But most libraries like to do it like this, because here's what you do. This is the cool part. So Once Upon a Camel, I'm looking at it. That was one that came. I'm going to come over here to edit options, and I'm looking at it, and I want to move this to my food list. Save. So I moved that title to my food list. Now, this list, I'm looking at this stowaway. You know what? I don't think I want that. Meh. So that's good. So what I'll do now is I'm going to say delete list. And it's gone. The whole purpose behind the notification list, and again, that's up under orders, standing order programs. The whole purpose behind all of these is to give you those reminder lists that you then use them the way you want. Maybe you'll take one of those lists and copy everything over and order everything on a list, or maybe you'll just like I did. I got a list with 2 items on it. I looked at them. One of them I wanted, so I moved it to another list. And then when I was done, I deleted it so it wasn't gumming up the works.
Okay, great.
But the cool part is you set up all of your own lists. I mean, we can help you if you'd like, but you just have the ability to set up everything on your own. You just fill in the details and read through it, and everybody can do it. So for example, if everybody wants their own author illustrator list, everybody can set it up. So you can have 100 author illustrator standing order lists in one library because you've got 100 different people that want to follow their own lists.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really cool on what you set up. So yep.
Great, thank you.
Now, the other thing to show you is you noticed that, I'm going to go back to this debut again, the high interest categories. You noticed that we called something Street Smart. Those are the titles that we are working under the impression that they are going to be popular / bestseller / promoted titles by the publisher. So whenever you see a title that says Street Smart, that lets you know that if you get it onto a list and get it ordered, 3 to 3.5 weeks before the pub date, we will do everything humanly possible to get this title into your library before street date.
Okay.
So if you order this title today, The Adventures of Team Palm, what's going to happen is if you get it on order today, barring any type of a weird, wonky publisher situation or something weird happening, on June 1st, you're already going to have it ready to give it to whoever's got the first person that's got the hold on it.
Oh, okay. So we actually get it. It's actually shipped to us before the street date.
Correct.
Great.
Correct. Anywhere from a couple weeks up to the day before. You know, publishers are really scrambling these days. We're getting a lot of street smart stuff coming in a day or two before street date to us, so it's harder for us to turn it. But we've got stuff that's publishing in mid to late April from other publishers that we've already got in that we're distributing. Yeah, the goal is to get everything out as soon as we can.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go back here and we're going to look at icons. I'm going to go back. So I put that baseball in. I got my 13,000. I'm going to come down here and say, you know, I don't even want to fool around unless it's got a full text review only, and then update. So here's all my full text review titles that I can look at. So I'm coming in here. I'm going to change this to pub date. Everything's customizable. And as I look, preview, which means exactly what you think it should. There's a preview in here of the title. Now, did this pop up for you guys?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So as you can see, here's a actual preview of the title.
That's pretty cool.
You're also going to see all these other, it's out of here. The might and majesty of the home run. You see there's an icon with a little star. That means that there's a starred citation in here. Now those are a citation, but there's a starred one. So all these little icons all mean something. TSC means table of contents. The Incredible Winston Brown, you guys ordered that. Items in a selection list. Whoop, that's on my food list. I don't remember putting that on my food list. Do you guys remember me putting that on the food list? So that's what that's designed to do. It's just designed to be another tool for you to keep you from doubling stuff up. Yours to keep, Man of the Year 2. You guys ordered that back in June of last year. So all kinds of cool things if you scroll through and you look at all these icons that'll tell you. Here's a neat one. See this icon right here? It looks like there's a hand. That's actually a hand holding a review. And what that's telling us is that this title is on a curated list somewhere. So if we open it up and we look at it, it's telling us right here that that title is on the sports and recreation curated list with another 88 titles. So everything is pretty much clickable. You can jump around. All the Library of Congress subject headings are here. The BISAC categories. We actually, if it's a book that's out, we will have a Library of Congress call number in there. Everything you're looking at, if it's part of a series, it will show in here that it's part of a series. If you think you should need it or you want it, it should be an ipage for you. It's just making sure that we get to the right spot and you find it. All right. Any questions before I cover a couple more things?
You may be about to cover this, but I would be interested in seeing how to save a search.
Okay. I was not, but I will. Okay. Right now I want to show you, and I'll do that next. Under my account, everybody's going to get a sheet, if Joy didn't already give it to you, that will kind of walk through the settings. But when you get going, you need to go to change settings. And this is where you can come through and you set all your preferences. So as you notice, when I was doing searches, I was pulling up a list with 50 items. In this case, I'm going to change it to 200 and come in here and say update. It turns green. Okay, now when I say baseball, Now, as you notice, I'm getting 200 items on the list instead of 50. So everything is sortable. Anytime in iPage that you do something, and then you got to click here and click here and click there to get where you want, my bet is that you could do that straight up if we just had the settings set for you. So, you know, make sure that you're in the My Account, change settings, and you can change all your settings. All these will help show you, you know, what you can do to make it a little bit better. So a search. Let's say that every week I look for, I'm staying on the baseball theme since opening day is tomorrow, by the way. So here's my search. I'm hiding the compilations. I'm hiding the reproductions. I only want age 6 to 9 and say update. And I'm only looking for fiction titles, update. And let's see. I just want also English. So I'll just do that and update. And then I only want paperback, update. So I've done this search and I'm like, okay, cool. That's a search. Now I'm going to do this same search every week. So what I'm going to do now is right here, it's kind of hidden where it says save search. I'm going to click that and I'm going to call it my baseball search. All right. And I'm going to create a new search and say save. So what I just did is I created a search for all of these criteria up here at the top. So I go home, I go on vacation, I come in next week, I come down here to my shortcuts on my home page, I hit save search. There's my baseball search. I click baseball search and here it is. And it's not saving the list, you're saving the search. So as we have information comes in and out, more titles come in and out, pub dates change, this list is a dynamic list that will change every time that you do this search.
Great, thank you.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And then last thing I'll show you guys, and this is more of a Joyce, I think Sharon type thing. Everything that you do in iPage, we track. So under orders, and I'm going to show you where this is. I'm going to go to order status. And if your permissions are set as such, this is where we can track every item that you've got on order. So I'm going to come over here to all open items, and this will show you everything that you've ordered and where it is. So here's your order from March 30th. These are showing that these items are in processing, which means they're going through the warehouse and they'll be coming to you as quickly as we can get them to you. Back ordered means that we don't have it because either it hasn't published yet or unfortunately it's just one that we don't have in stock. And as you can see, here is your 329 order that went through. You can go all the way through processing. So you got a bunch of stuff that's going to come rolling out. And then the recently shipped will show you what's shipped. So on the 30th, which was yesterday, we shipped this box to you with these items in it. And let's see if the tracking number is up yet. There it is. It's going to show up today at 12:42. Do you know you got it, Joy?
I have no idea.
Okay. So
We've got boxes on the table. That's all
gotcha.
I know.
So the cool thing is we shipped this yesterday and you got it today. That's about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah.
So we've got robust inventory. You know, I know all you guys in the Juvie side, you know, this is, you know, Ingram is new to you. You know, we're actually the largest shipper of books now, even though you weren't ordering stuff from us before. There are still titles that you're getting that Ingram distributes that Baker and Taylor was having to buy from us and then ship to you. or if you order on Amazon, we're the largest shipper for Amazon. So there's a lot of things that you were getting that came out of an Ingram warehouse. It was just coming in directly. We are shipping a lot of non-processed items same day. We're shipping processed items. It takes us a few days to get the Mylar on them, simply because of the fact with all the social distancing restrictions with COVID, our processing team can't work back to back, as I'm working on my station and somebody behind me's on their station. So we've had to spread people out. So we're just not quite as efficient as normal, but it's still coming quickly. And so what should always happen is you place an order today, it'll drop to the warehouse today, and then you can see that we've already got items on a picking ticket and we're starting to generate a report to send them out to you. But that's here under orders, order status, and then you can just see where everything is and what's going on. So this last order, you had 33 items, 30 of them are in processing and 3 of them are on back order. So give you a little. I'm sorry?
Oh, sorry. Is there a way to search the order status by a specific item, like using the ISBN number?
Oh, yeah. This is cool. All right, so let's say that I'm looking for Minions collection here. Copy. So I'm looking for this title. So I come over here to order status search and click this. And then right here where it says product code, I just drop in an ISBN and hit submit, and it will tell me where that title is. This only goes back about 6 months. So if it's something that shipped this time last year, it's not going to be in here, but it is going to be, about 6 months if it's already shipped. If you ordered it this time last year and it's still on back order because it hadn't published, it will be here.
So, Brett, is there an end date to back orders? How long do those back orders hang around?
Good question. If I click back order, here is your current date ordered for Dragon Ball Z Volume 9. And as you can see, you ordered it on the 30th, and the back order cancel date is on May 29th. So you've got a 60-day cancellation period on your published items. This is a library setting, and Joy, this is a Joy setting that you guys control this. The longest that we do is 365, so we'll go up to 365 days out, so we'll keep it on a year. But most libraries are somewhere between 60, 90 days, and this does not count items that have not published yet. So this item right here, what will you be? As you notice, even though it says 5/28, the clock will not start on that until the 4th of May.
Nice. Okay,
And then the clock starts.
great.
This title will stick around for a while. It was ordered on March 11th. It doesn't, now we've got a date of 10/11/22, assuming that's right. It's going to sit there for a while.
So I have a follow-up question to this. So when an item has been ordered, but it's on back order,
Yep.
when we're looking at the item record, it doesn't show that it was actually ordered. But when I go into the order status, I can see that it was ordered and invoiced, but on the record when I'm searching, so I could give you an ISBN number.
When you say searching on the record, where are you searching the record at?
Well, when you just do like a search, like you're trying to find a title to order. There were some items that I found that showed it was in a cart, but in that cart, it doesn't show that it was ordered, even though some of the items had been.
Let me dig into that.
Okay.
If you got specific, because that's a specific that we'd have to see what was causing that. For example, I just pulled up this Sumo Kitty, and you can see that, it's showing us what we want to know. But if you've got something that's not showing you what it should, shoot those to me and let me dig on it and see why it's not doing that.
Okay, I have a list of ISBNs that it looks like we ordered them. When
How long ago?
in September.
Okay.
And I can find them in this order status feature that you showed me, but they're not showing as ordered when you just do a general search.
Okay, yeah, it should. Yeah, send those to me, please.
Okay.
All right. What other questions? We've got a good hour in. After this, it starts getting mind numbing. What other high points would you like to hear about, or if you want to hear, something in the weeds, so to say? What is not answered that you need answered?
I had a question, and so if you click on a title, so you're searching a title and you click on it, and so you're getting information about that one. Okay.
Right.
So the information given to the right of the title does not tell me, I know about this one, but doesn't tell me if it belongs in a Dewey or a reader's or a picture book. So I have to scroll down just a little bit under that gray bar, right? Yeah. And I have found that when I look, a lot of times the Dewey number, I don't know, I don't get the right feel for it. Like, it's not, is there somewhere else that I can go within the details to see?
Good question. As you notice, let's go back. Here is Fiona Flamingo. All right. Mm-hmm. And here we go. This is limited.
Yes. This might be better, Brett, with a nonfiction book.
With a nonfiction, yeah.
Gotcha. And so if I go to Guy stuff, which I just looked at, here we go. Here's the Dewey.
Yeah.
Here it's more detailed. The long answer is a long answer. The short answer is it just unfortunately depends. Some titles just depends upon when we get them and when we get their information into ipage will vary. You're going to find out and you're going to look up and you're going to have a day where you're going to have multiple that you don't have the information that you really, really, really want. Other days, everything's going to be 100%. It just depends upon how the data gets loaded into ipage, and there's nowhere else to go. If it's not right here, then it doesn't exist. It's just one of those things. It is what it is.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the short bottom line answer. Ingram decided years ago and then up before the pandemic that could we have spent time putting in Fiona Flamingo more information? Yeah, but we instead are spending our time getting our 4 warehouses as robust with inventory as they can, so that if you do want to buy Guy stuff, that we've got 780 copies here and 480 here, and if you order them non-processed, we're going to ship them to you today. It's just, it's just a business philosophy that we said, we're going to do the best we can with the publisher data, with the Dewey number, with whatever we can. But at the end of the day, it's about being able to get them out the door, and that's what we're working on. So working on giving you the best price possible and getting them to you as fast as we can, so that you can get them into people's hands.
Okay, Brett, because I will admit I got distracted, so I don't know. Did you show them how to transfer a cart to Sharon?
No, I did not. So
okay.
Good, thank you. All right, so
let's look at this because I can't see.
All right, active. So I've been building this food list, right? So it's ready to go to Sharon. Now, this is a workflow that you guys are using. Other libraries use a different way, but ipage has it built, so however you want to do it, you guys can do it. What Joy and I were talking about, what you guys were doing, is that in this case, I've done my work on my food list. I have priced it. I have did the inventory check. It's ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to this notify, and I am going to send it to Sharon, which she's the acquisitions, right?
Yes, yes.
So I'm going to click acquisitions and say, okay. And what just happened is I sent Sharon an email through her to her email address that says, hey, acquisitions, Brett just sent you a notification that food list needs your attention. And so what happened for her at this point is she's got another mailbox that, if it was not up already, just popped up here, a folder, and the list that you quote unquote sent her attention went from the active folder for her over to her inbox, so that she knows that that list needs her attention two ways. One is she got the email. Two is it went to her inbox.
Okay, and then, okay, I forget that I sent it and I come back in later. How do I know that I sent that cart to her?
It should show right here in the notify.
Okay. It'll
Yep,
stay
it should
that
show.
way.
Yep. It
Okay.
should show in the notify. And then you know what I would do. And again, this is just list management and how you want to do it and what you want to do. I can then take this list right here and I can move it over. If I worry about that type of thing, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, every time I send Sharon a list, I'm just going to move it to my forwarded list. So that way it's in that mailbox, it's there. Does that make sense?
Because when you do another action with that cart, it takes away the notify message.
It does.
So it only stays there short term.
Correct. Yeah. If you put another
Yeah.
list on it or do anything, that's why, again, it depends on how you want to do it. To be honest with you, we don't really have feedback from people having problems putting stuff on lists after they've already done something with them. It may seem like it's an issue, but it's a non-issue for us. We just don't have people saying, "Oh my God, we got to do what." It just doesn't work. So the easy way is that just have you, like in this case, make you a nice folder called My Forwarded List, and then you can have another one called My Active List. And if you think you're a person that's not going to remember or not going to do things like that, then you just keep stuff in the right folders and you're good to go that way. But every individual person has their own ability on how they want to use folders, because the rest of the world just sees it as an active list.
And I think you've mentioned this, but only when it turns yellow does that list, you can't add and have it ordered, correct? So like, even though I transfer it to Sharon, I could sneak another book in there as long as she hasn't ordered it yet.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think you said that well. Sneak another book in there. She hadn't ordered it. So yeah, if you want to live dangerously, that'll work that way. But yes, but until the point that it's been changed, it's just an active list that is waiting for something to happen to it. Yep.
Okay, and Brett, I believe Sharon had said that even though she locks the list after she places the order, items have been able to be added to that list.
The person who created the list always has the wild card to have access to that list as well.
So basically, they would have to lock it after she ordered it in order to prevent additions?
No, what happens is the list creator and the administrator both can do things in a locked list. The reason why is because you might order it today, lock it, but then you also want to maybe do a download out of it or something tomorrow, or copy some data out of it or whatever. So you always have the ability to get into a list, but it's just the creator. So this JL213 Teen 2, Jennifer will, even if Sharon locks the list, Jennifer will still be able to get into it.
Okay, how do we prevent that?
ipage, like I said, you guys have asked me this about 9 times. You're the only library that I've ever had asked me this in like the last year. It's just not an issue. I know you guys think it is, but we just don't have, because once Sharon has ordered, this list is yellow. Don't touch a yellow list. Like I said, it's just, we don't have that problem. It's when we look at, what people want us to do or enhancements, we just don't have issues with folks putting stuff in lists. You pay attention, it's yellow, and it's not like it's kind of yellow, it's really yellow. I mean, don't put anything on these lists. So, it's just like that. The only thing around it is you would have to have Sharon build all your lists, and then that way she would become the creator and the administrator. Then that way, if you guys were really, really, really serious about making sure it's locked because you guys can't tell yellow, then that would be the way around it. But
okay,
once you guys get into it and start using it, I don't see you having a problem. Nobody else does.
Okay.
There will be a random one because somebody will do it on the fly. But remember, take a few minutes, get your settings set, and particularly here, make sure that whenever you log on the next time, when you come here to lists, make sure you do that and just take all of these off. All these should be on when you log in. Just take them all off. And that will solve that problem. Is you'll only have your active list showing. So if it's been archived, Sharon's done something with it, then you won't have that problem. There's a lot of safeguards built in, but we always try to build in the safeguards plus give you the flexibility if you need the flexibility.
Okay. We did have one other question. When Sharon archives a cart, does it archive it for everybody or just for herself?
Archive goes for everybody. And then it will stay there for 13 months, and then it will auto delete just because, it needs to save space eventually. But if you archive a list and pull it out and do something with it, then that basically will unarchive it. But that will only apply that you really need to do that if you archive a list that you didn't order off of. So you can archive a non-ordered list as well, but what happens is most people just archive the ordered list.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I think we give way too many choices. It's like, okay, sometimes it's like, okay, like you just said, let me just lock it and leave it locked. But we just try to give you options because as soon as we do that, then somebody say, oh no, but every 19th list, we need to go in and unlock it and, do things. And so that way we try to leave it like that so that the creator can also get into it. What other questions?
Christina, not to put you on the spot, but you've been so patient listening to all the youth services examples. Was there anything else you wanted to ask that was specific to adults or nonfiction?
No, I think actually you asked those questions for me, so thank you.
No, you're welcome.
And yeah, the context of youth services was fine, so it was very helpful. Thank you.
Like browse, high interest category, adult. Everything.
Yes, those
exactly
I was
same.
Following along, and yes, that was great. I love those.
Yeah, just take children's and put adult in, and everything should be exactly the same. You're going to have a few more options on the adult side just because the bandwidth. The other thing that last thing I'm going to show you. I did books, keyword Ingram Active. I'm going to do baseball. We got the 13,324. If I change this to extended, you now get 35,918. The difference is, if there is an item that has an ISBN sometime applied or an EAN at some point in the history of the last decade, we're going to throw it in the Ingram Extended. For the most part, we recommend you stay out of Ingram Extended because there's just so much in it. Everything that's inactive will be an extended, of course. But in the extended, we have wall calendars and puppets. And as it says, binding type right here, it's got pre-bound sewn, it's got MP3, it's got wall calendars, cassette tapes, downloadable palm readers. I don't even know what those are anymore. We have leather bound in here. So if there's something that we can touch with an EAN or an ISBN, it's going to show up in Ingram Extended. On the other hand, we have an iKids, which is 0 to 18 years of age, and it should keep the adult stuff out. But that is a setting that if you want to always just be in iKids, just come here to your settings, make sure it says iKids, and you're always going to be in iKids. Is that it? Everybody's mind numb?
Yes, thank you, Brett. This is great.
Okay. Good. All right, Joy, anything else?
No, I think that's it. I'll relay this information to Sharon, and then if she still has any more questions, I'll give you a call.
Okay, give me a call. But yeah, on the list lock, sometimes it just is what it is, and that's the case with that one, is that it's the admin and the list creator can both open it.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to record this, and then we've got to kind of do a wonky workaround to get this to you, but I'll let you know when it's available. We have to post it on a third-party site. I can't just send it to you automatically. So I'll show you how to get to it on YouTube, and then you can watch it when you want to.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Brett.
All right, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.